There we go. Hi, Coach.
Hi, guys. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Do you guys have okay sound for TV?
Good. If you might get an exciting, I don't know, 5-year-old in pajamas coming down at some minute. Sorry about that.
All right. Well, how about if you start out with a few thoughts and then we got a whole lineup for questions.
That sounds great. Yeah, boy, I've obviously been to this thing before, and it never gets old, knowing that, coming from a tradition like Carolina, you don't get in because of your tradition, right? Just ask Notre Dame, right? You have to earn it year after year after year. And this group earned it, and really, really excited to be in it. Know that there's no bad teams in the tournament, so we'll have to be at our best. And just humbled as always for this opportunity. It's the best of the best.
All right, RL, and then we'll go with Chris.
Hey, congratulations. I remember after the Virginia Tech win in Blacksburg, you expressed how much of a relief it was to finally be off the bubble. But the NCAA came out today and said you were one of the last 4 in. How surprising was that to you that it was that close?
Yeah, I always question how much the committee really pays attention to what's really important, which are the details, right? So if you look at the conference schedule that we played, and the games we didn't get to play because of either cancellation of the season or cancellation of games, our record doesn't look quite like everybody else's, right? And so you look at you look at your team's readiness by looking at quality wins and bad losses. And I think when you look at our quality wins versus our bad losses, it wasn't at all a bubble, in my opinion. But I study this really closely. There's a lot of things I don't study as closely, and so I might not know as much about that. But I think that the committee really has to pay attention to the details. It's important. It's very important, and there's some thin edges that separate these teams.
Chris?
Oh, RL is a very smart guy because he took my exact question. But as we move forward, now that you guys are in the tournament and you already know who you're going up against, you have Alabama, who you faced last year. Is that going to be easier for you to prepare for the team as you're getting ready for this game on Monday?
Last year's team, it was a totally different team for us, not for them. Their team is very similar. Our team is entirely different. That's kind of the way the season's gone for us. Obviously one of my newest coaching assistants was there last year as on their staff. I don't know if you know that, but Coach Adrian Walters was on their staff last year. So obviously he has a very good working knowledge of their program. But at this level, the scouting is really important for both teams always. And so, I will have, before I see my team tomorrow morning, I will have seen at least 6 of their games, and we'll break the game down accordingly. So no, our team is so different. There's only what Malou and Janelle even wore a uniform for the game last year, and that was Malou's very first road game. So, I don't think familiarity in that case helps us or hurts us. It's a non-factor.
Thank you.
Lawrence, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. So as you guys continue to grow as a program, looking a little bit more intrinsically, what would define a good game for you guys? What would you like to see out of your team as you guys play Alabama on Monday?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think there's a way that you compete in a thrive and advance environment that it's important. I think I also think 28 times is a big deal, right? And I know that. And to bring this team back to the program where I think it really belongs, I'm really proud of. But each year is really unique. And I told the kids, I told the team when I addressed them after the selection show that we all collectively got there. And I said, now I'm happy to be here with you. Like it's your time now, right? This is their dance. And you dance with the ones that brought you, and I'm ready to dance with them. So, it's about this particular team, and there's not a lot. I'm so happy that my young team gets a chance. The young guys will get to experience the NCAA tournament for what they will have later on in their careers as a run that they get to create on their own. But this is the very first run, and it's important that we honor the moment with competitiveness and with grit for sure.
CL.
Hi, Courtney. What do you think this will do in terms of kind of laying the foundation for what you want to build here in Chapel Hill. And I apologize for coming in like a vampire, but I got the backlight, so it just makes everything darker.
No problem. Yeah. Well, thanks for jumping on. I think when I first got here, it was, obviously my goal was to not only win a game, to be in March, but to win a lot in March. But I didn't know how quickly that would happen because we were going to build it in a way that was just long-standing. Certainly recruiting is your lifeline. And when you're when you're sitting in living rooms, whenever we're allowed to do that again, and I'm able to say that I've already been back in this program will help, and that it's been a program that's done it 28 times and that I've done it with this program. It all just kind of helps in recruiting. So, I think that every good player in high school wants to play in the NCAA tournament, and everyone's going to say they're going to try to do that, but we can say we've done it. So I think it will help.
Mitchell?
Yeah, Coach, you talked about sort of the details of your schedule. There's 8 ACC teams in this tournament. What does, I guess, that say about just how tough this conference was this year, how much of a grind it was to get the winning record that you did?
Yeah, especially, again, it's who you played, right? And so, we didn't play. So if you look at the standings from the bottom up, right, we didn't play Virginia or Duke at all. We didn't play BC at all. We played Clemson one time. We played Pitt one time. And then you go to the top, right? And you played Louisville once, you played NC State twice, you played Syracuse twice, you played, you go. And so it's not just, really, the tournament isn't about wins and losses. It's about who you beat and who you lost to. And I know you and I have talked about that. And I think Jeff Wall said it best, that because we only had 2 teams that started, or 3 teams that started in 2, I guess Syracuse earned their way in, but we only had 2 teams that started in the top 25 without a non-conference. We never got to justify interconference how strong we were. And I think this conference, we have I have some new film people on my staff, and they said, gosh, when are the bad teams? I just said, they don't exist. I mean, they're not here. And so, I give a lot of credit to the coaches in general. We've been texting back and forth as an ACC coaching group. We're happy for our league. We feel like it's validated because it's a war night in and night out. And it's hard to win in March. So I don't think you can say, well, it depends. Let's see how it all shakes out. It's like getting here was key. And now we've got to take it one game at a time.
Mike?
Hey, Coach, congrats on the bid there. I wanted to ask you, and you mentioned a lot about your younger team, but the tournament's no stranger to you. And so going into things, I know it's not going to be your typical year, but what do you do to try to manage some of the excitement or expectations of the players who haven't been in this situation before?
Yeah, which is most of the group, again. And that's that's actually really different for me, right? So I think this is my 9th or something. I think, interestingly, we would have played this past weekend had I been in the Ivy League. And so there's not the time off. Our team has been off for a week, right? Not off, but technically not competing, not preparing for somebody. So that's a different dynamic, right? And then also the level of competition when you're coming off of the Ivy League is really different. So then you go and you meet, like in my case, my last game at Princeton, we played Kentucky at NC State, and that was a possession game all the way till the end. But we hadn't been in a possession game since November. Right. This particular team is much more battle tested. I get it. I'm grateful for the ACC. I think it prepares you better than I felt prepared going into these tournaments in the past. And you need good guard play. You need good defensive concepts. I think we have, that's going to be important to us as we move into this thing.
All right. Anybody have a follow-up or any additional questions?
This is CL. I had one follow-up. Coach, I was just curious, what would you point to as maybe the turning point in being able to win 5 out of the last 7, especially being able to get it done going on the road to win, 3 of those on the road? Yeah,
I mean, all those things were, again, the details that I appreciate you knowing, because I think that it's really important for the committee to take into consideration. We changed our lineup. So the very first time we played really small or smaller was the NC State home game. And so when you start a guard at the 4 spot, it changes you on both ends. And so doing that really opened up a lot of space. It allowed us to play faster. It allowed us to stay in front of the ball better defensively. We didn't concede as much on the rebounding that we thought we might. But yeah, it was really it was a pretty massive change. It wasn't a click your heels and hope for it. It was a statistical and a strategy change in terms of personnel that has really helped our team.
Anybody have anything else?
Yeah, Coach, I want to ask about it. So it sounded like in the Ivy League, you just had a week break between the league tournament. And
No,
the
so
NCAA?
in the Ivy League, you played the Sunday of the day before the selection show.
Right.
So you'd go from like, and then we obviously I didn't love the tournament because we won the league every year. And so for the weekend, I'm hoping I don't get upset, right? And then you play Saturday, Sunday, or Friday, Sunday, whatever it ended up being. I think it was Saturday, Sunday. I don't even remember, and it was only 2 years ago, but whatever. And then the next day is the selection show. So it's like a sprint. Here we played, I don't know, last whatever day, and we've been able to give them some time off. We've been able to get some lifting in. We've been able to get some team stuff in. We've been able to, so that alone is just already different.
So that was what I was going to ask about the 17-day layoff. Does that worry you, or is you're seeing it as a positive for your team?
I think it's Alabama has about a similar one, right? So is it a positive? Not really, because Kentucky had a similar one when we played them and almost beat them when I was at Princeton. I think there's a chance to get healthy. There's a chance to regroup. There's a chance to breathe and take it in. So I'll tell you if it was an advantage after I see the result.
And when do you leave for San Antonio?
A good question. I'm hearing maybe Wednesday because of the 2-day quarantine. Our men found out about 2:30 in the morning, the day they left. I know the NCAA is very busy, and it's not just all getting to different sites now. It's all getting to the same site. So it's a little trickier. So luckily I keep myself in my lane, and my lane is Alabama. Everything else is outside of that lane.
Thank you.
All right. Anybody, anything else?
I just had one more.
Okay.
Coach, you talked about, you've been to the tournament several times with Princeton. So you sort of know what playing well there, I assume, can do for a young team. And you have a pretty young team aside for your 3 seniors. So in regards to, Deja and Alyssa and some of the younger players, what can playing well on this stage, or even winning a game or winning a couple games, do for their sort of development going forward?
Yeah, it's huge. You're so right. It's huge. I mean, I think the feeling you have when your season's over and your performance affected that is it's hard to translate that, right? It just, you have to feel it. And they are critical pieces of our team, our freshmen. So how they perform will impact how we do, which will impact the emotion that they feel. And that will carry them through, either way, to their off season and into the next year and then into next March. It's just not a feeling you forget, good, bad, or indifferent. And so I'm so grateful that they will be in this experience this early in their career, because it matters. It really, really, really matters. And that's my dream, that they would get it this early. And they had a part in us doing it. So they weren't just carried here. They had to play well. I think that was to CL's other question. I mean, Deja Kelly's playing better basketball. Everyone's journey looks different, and her journey was a slower start than she would have liked, but we saw it in practice every day. She was getting better. And as Deja has played better, we have played better. And so, she's earned the right to bring the team back home, and for her and her performance will matter. And then that will carry her through her off season and her season next year.
All right.
Oh, wait, Coach, real quick. I just wanted to ask the conversation what was the conversation like between you and Janelle that went into her decision? What do you feel like she still has to prove, and where do you feel like she'll thrive at on the next level?
Yeah, the conversation's always really simple, and that is that we support you, right? And in her case, she wanted to kind of put it behind her that she wasn't coming back. And what she needs to do is, you need to continue to play well. There's 144 players in the WNBA total, 12 teams, 12 players. And it's not 144 new players every year, right? And so how many new players are we looking at? And then it's not, if there are 24 new players across those teams, so 2 per team, They aren't from the college ranks. They're from everyone else in the whole country, which includes the college ranks and the international players. And so it's a really, really, really hard league to make. And so you just have to keep controlling what you can control, right? And how she plays in big games matters. How she leads in big games matter. How she handles adversity in big games matters. And so, I think the conversation, it wasn't a coach, what do you think? It was I support you. It's your lifelong dream. And it's time, for you to have that experience and to, especially in a year like this, you don't know how many people are going to go out. So if you put yourself out there first, people can start talking about you before they know if other people are going to come out, I know her teammates are happy for her and, I know she wants to just do as well as she can in the tournament for us. And then that'll be a whole different chapter. So yeah, it's exciting. At Carolina, we want to coach pros. So anytime someone declares for the draft, I'm happy because it means we're doing what they wanted to do. There's something right about Carolina in the NCAA tournament. There's something right about Carolina in the draft.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Appreciate you hopping on.
Thank you guys for your support all year and all the work that you do to promote our sport. It matters. So I appreciate it.
Congratulations, Coach. Good luck.
Thanks,
Thank
Coach.
you so
Thanks, Dana.
much.
Good luck, Coach. Thank you.
Thank you.